A very good evening to wherever you're watching in the world, and welcome along to the return of iGPFun Super Formula Lights League Season 2 2025. And we're in the final throes of the 30-minute qualifying session at the famed Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache here at Interlagos, just on the outskirts of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And you join us live on the JP Broadcasting Network. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and I'm going to be joined in the booth tonight by a good buddy of mine. Let's welcome in Jim Cunningham into the booth. Jim, hello, buddy. How are you? Good to have you back. And good to be alongside you for what should be a rip-roaring roller coaster ride around this fantastic Brazilian circuit.
Yeah, Alex, it's good to be back with you, and it's especially good to join you here in Sao Paulo for this race at Interlagos. I love this place. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive, and I am super excited to be covering some Super Formula Lights here. It's quite I've done a lot of GT races here, but I don't know how many open wheel races I've done. So I'm quite excited to see how these cars get around here.
Exactly. Lee Aberdeen took the title back in season number 1. And so the Australian is going to be the man to beat this season. But it also depends on the amount of drivers we've got. We've got 48 drivers set to go on the grid. We're into the final 4 minutes of qualifying, and it's Johan Enet that is leading the way in the number 11 car, and he's put down a best efforts of a 1 minute 25.215 ahead of Yunus Amal from Morocco, who's been in the thick of the action over the past couple of seasons. Thomas Regien. Tony Jimenez, a former iGPFun Super Formula Lights champion, returns once again in the number 18, and he'll be another tough cookie to beat. Ludwig Constant, Krish Patel, Oscar Belcardi is another new name, along with Antoine Holstein, Andy Maverick Flint, and we kept on saying before we went on air, Jim, well, if there's Maverick, where's Goose, and where more than likely is going to be Rooster? You know, if anyone knows about Top Gun, well, you know. Dennis Cornu rounds out the top 10, covered by just under 4.5 tenths of a second. And we have at the moment, my good buddy, 33 drivers rounded up by Scotland's Stu Milne, covered by a second in this qualifying session. It really has been close, isn't it?
I was just looking at that. I was actually counting up the drivers to say exactly that. This is insane. Typically over a grid this size, you'll see, you might see 5-10 drivers at the most inside of a second. And we've got over 30 right now. This is absolutely crazy.
So, as always with iGPFun, it's going to be a 35-lap race around this 4.309 kilometer circuit, 15 turns in all. And this variation has been in use since 1999. Now, as always, with iGPFun, we have a little bit of housekeeping. Normally it's the scores on the doors, but they don't count. This is the season opener. However, passing is not at all difficult at Interlagos, but they do have the magenta rule, which is basically no active overtakes until they get through turn 3, which is after the center S's. And then you got the long straightaway down Reta Posta into Decido de Lago at turns 4 and 5. No 3 wide for the entire first lap, no matter how tempting that may be. Voluntary driving off track to gain an advantage, e.g. making or defending a pass is illegal if only done once. And there's a lot of drivers that really will have to watch their P's and Q's. It is about surviving this race here at Interlagos. More to the point, Jim, as we're coming to the final minute of this qualifying session. And I think, well, as soon as the first round gets underway, it's fair game for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think you hit it right on the head when you said surviving. This is this grid with this many cars on it. You can, I mean, clean driving or not, there's going to be something that happens. And the problem is, with this many cars, I mean, you could have a massive incident from just something extremely minor, just because there's so many cars fighting for spots. you get through a lap or two and they spread out a little bit and sort themselves out a touch, I think we'll be okay. But the first lap or two, these guys are really, really going to have to watch themselves.
Yeah, and we are coming towards the tail end, Charlie, of this qualifying session. Tony Jimenez on his last qualifying lap has gone off the circuit. He's currently P4 at this moment in time, but Maverick Flint, and he is going to be making his way through the final part of the circuit very shortly. Of course, turn 15. A little bit of topical knowledge about the Interlagos circuit. It's called Arquibancadas, which is basically Portuguese for the bleachers, which is where the grandstands are, as we ride on board with Andy as he makes his way up the hill through into towards what I think will be Pico de Pato, aka the Duck's Beak, then down through turn 11 at Megulo, fourth gear, now start to accelerate into Junção, depending on your pronunciation, of course, and then it's up the hill through turn 13, up past the Subida dos Boxers on the right-hand side, and then it's flat chat all the way through the final corner. Stay as close to the left-hand side wall as you dare, and across the line. Andy Flint, how close did you want to be to those blooming tyre barriers on the left-hand side? And on that particular lap, he set his fastest time, but it was only good enough for 10th spot on the grid as qualifying comes to a close here, Jim, in Interlagos.
Yeah, I think, I tell you what, that was I wish we'd have got to ride the whole lap with him. That was very entertaining. You doing a blow by blow, corner by corner lap analysis there. If I'd have realized you were going to be that good at that, I would have done the whole lap.
Well, to be honest with you, we might get an opportunity, but the final few moments of this qualifying session will soon be completed. Tony Jimenez still out on track. I can't see anybody else.
I think
Tony's just gone through sector number 3. Yeah, last man standing, so to speak. Here's the man from Spain. And it was finally good to see him break his duck, so to speak, winning a title in iGPFun Super Formula Lights. Don't forget, folks, if you haven't already, like, share and subscribe to the JP Broadcasting Network. And we've got more action from Interlagos as we'll have the return of Sim Racing for Simpletons for their season opener. Funnily enough, right here at Interlagos. But qualifying has been decided. Let's take you through the top 30 of the starting grid. There's a lot of cars on this grid, 48 in total. So, Johan Annette looks like the Quebecois flag there. For that part of Canada, as Vimala alongside on the front row. Tony Jimenez and Thomas Regien round out row number 2, followed by Ludovic Constant and Krish Patel. Dennis Cornu and Oscar Belcardi round out row 4, head of Antoine Holstein and Andy Maverick Flint. Mehmet Tashi and Gabriel Mela will be on row 6, head of Jerry Boul and Alexei Yukish from Kyrgyzstan. Luca Varani always here, always present. He starts 15th, and we'll have a local driver in the form of Andrei Vyshikowski rounding out the top 8 rows. Completing the top 20 will be Albert Harari, Scott Taylor, another Brazilian in the form of Flavio Dantas, with Jacques Willems rounding out the top 20. Francois Bandet, Richard Van Veen, Robert Ridgway, Nguyen. Then we got Mohamed Bouleg, Koji Ito, Stu Milne, Tom Donahoe, Stefan Dodra, and I think it's Abessi Mohamed Yassin that will round out the top 30. And we've got the likes of Patrick Williams, Justin Fields, Eddie Amos, everyone starting to ready up on the grid ahead of this 35 lap encounter here at Interlagos. It should be a spectacle to kick off this second season of iGPFun here in 2025. Still waiting for a few more drivers to get onto the grid, and once they're readied up, and well, if the timer runs out and you're caught a bit short, well, you're going to find out the hard way. Right. Fabian Dantas has just readied up. Nov Powell in 39th, due to ready up as well. 2 minutes have elapsed. as now the 5 red lights start to ignite here at Interlagos, and we are underway for the opening round of Season 2 of Super Formula Lights for iGPFun. And it's the run down to the simracers for the first time. Drivers going here, there and everywhere. And Tony Jimenez keeping to the outside through the simracers on Thomas Regien as the Spaniard makes his way into P3. And now it's the run down the Retta Aposta for the first time. Slipstreaming will be plentiful. And it is going to be the case that Thomas Regien now will get alongside and go towards the outside into the Ciudad del Lago at turn 4. Regien runs a little bit wide. Flint is tumbling down the order. Oh no, Andy Maverick has lost it. He's lost it. Big time. And looks like Mehmet Tashi has got a slowdown penalty. And that has tumbled him down the order. But in the meantime, Johan Annette, the driver, I think is from Quebec. They do have a different flag over there for that region of Canada. I should know because there's a popular streamer by the name of Cocotte who's going to be running in the GP Explorer, the final race, in a few weeks' time. But more to the point, Johan Annette's leading by 0.7 of a second ahead of Yunus Amal. Then it's Regien, Jimenez, Ronson, Patel, Cornu, Belcardi, Holstein and Mela that lead the way as Johan Annette will come through Arquibacandas very shortly. Go very close to the pit lane wall as they complete lap number 1. That was a bit frantic, but unfortunately Maverick, I think he might have gotten into a bit of a tailspin there, Jim. He definitely lost a lot of places.
He did indeed. Yeah, like in the movie, a bit of a flat spin. Let's take a look at what happened to him I'm famous for my slow motion replays. Let's see.
Nothing like a good old bit of slow-mo.
Yeah, it happens every time.
So here we go with Andy. He gets tagged. He got helped, and he did go into a little bit of a tailspin. So
he did.
And then lights up the rear tyres. Also, I've noticed that Mehmet Tashi, the Turkish driver, in the number 48, has dropped all the way down to 41st. But it's been a clean start towards the front end of the field. Ludovic Ronson has been at the sharp end for the Unity Racing Brigade and is currently ahead of previous champion Tony Jimenez. The big news, though, folks, is there is no Lee Aberdeen in sight. So Johan Annette storms to pole position in the first race. Here's Gabriel Mella, who we're riding on board with, behind the number 30 of Oscar Belcardi and the number 013 of Antoine Holstein. And this is going to be where we see the slipstream come into full effect out of Arquibacandas and now down the start-finish straight into the S Lucena, the Senna S's at turns 1 and 2. Mela pulls to the outside. Will he get the nose in front? No. Belcardi defends, tries to go round the outside of Holstein himself. Now into Curva de Sol at turn 3. And then it's time to power out of the corner. Mela's got the slipstream coming down the Retta Aposta on the run down to the Ciudad del Lago at turns 4 and 5. This is really getting frantic, and Mela could have the opportunity to get through on Belcardi. Gets the move done down the Retta Aposta, and now is through to 9th.
That was a really, really clean pass there. That was perfectly executed by him. Let's see. We had a little action back here. Let's take a look real quick and see. This is Patrick Rowlands. This is not. Oh,
that's not going to go well. Oh, big roll, and he's on his sidewalls.
Wow.
Kind of echoes Nico Hulkenberg's collision a few years ago whilst leading for, I think it was either Racing Point or Force India. I think it was Force India.
I believe it was,
and he got it all crossed up and. Yeah, it was Force India, and he was leading the race. So that was a big old Code Brown clean up on aisle 3. And Patrick Rowlands finds himself in pit lane at the moment. But I have to say, Gabriel Mella and Oscar Belcardi are not done. Belcardi not done yet. And Belcardi gets through.
Right back by him.
He just slipstreamed past him, didn't he?
Same. Yeah, pretty much the same areas. They use that slipstream just to. They're just slipstreaming each other once a lap.
Oh, there's been further dramas down the order. Yunus Amala's gone off. Oh, but I also noticed Robert Ridgway is in the pit lane. Big disaster for the American in the number 17. He started 23rd, and he is in pit road. We are on lap 4 out of 35. And Johan Annette has a slender lead over Unisamal of about 1.1 seconds. Then a further 1.1 back to Thomas Regien. And it looks like the charge of the French brigade at the moment here, because Regien is in 3rd, Vincent is in 4th. You've got Jimenez, Patel, Cornu, Holstein, and then the man we've got on our screens at the moment, Oscar Belcardi, another new member of the Unity Racing crew. But Jimenez is coming under fire, and he's putting pressure on Ludovic Constant in the meantime. That's the battle for P4.
Yeah, I was trying to find what incident led Ridgway to go to the pits, but I don't see anything that would have led him to go into the pits.
Unless he's had a disconnect and rejoined the server, possibly. That's the only other thing that I can think of. Meantime, Holstein getting his elbows out, and he's got Gabriel Mella and Flavio Dantas, who's now the leading Brazilian.
Well,
and Holstein manages to get a couple of places back. Oh, yeah, this is looking rather close coming out down the Reto Aposta. They are nearly 4 wide into turn 4. And Vela gets through on Holstein. Belcardi leads that train. And Flavio Dantas using all his know-how and savoir-faire. A little bit of overcorrection for Gabriel Mella in the number 26, the Spaniard, who's made up 3 places, now currently runs P9. And Antoine Holstein loses out to Flavio Dantas, who squeezes up the inside, and the Brazilian does a mighty move that gains him another place. That's 9 from the Brazilian so far in the opening 4.7 laps out of 35. That's a great job from Flavio Dantas. Now, can he carry that form on? If you've got track knowledge, well, use it to your advantage.
I tell you what, he is flying right now, and he's making moves. It's one thing to go fast, but you got to get by somebody when you catch him, and he's doing both right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. New fastest lap of the race by former champion Tony Jimenez, 1:25.734 as we go on to lap 6 out of 35 here at Interlagos. And yeah, Jimenez is really starting to put the pressure on the shoulders of one, Ludovic Constant. This is the battle for P3. And when you think about it, Thomas Regien and Unisamal and also our leader Johan Annette are not that far ahead when you think about it. From Tony Jimenez to the race leader, it's 3.6 seconds.
Yeah, that's
and
nothing.
Some drivers starting to, it is next to nothing in a Super Formula Lights race here, Jim. But you can see that how close Tony Jimenez is getting to the rear wing of Ludovic Constant for Unity Racing. And this could be a rather enticing, rather intriguing and tasty battle for P4. Meantime, Jacques Willems has got through on our second highest placed Swiss driver. Luca Varani is not the only one on this grid, folks. Albert Harari has lost out a position and is in exactly the same place as where he is when he qualified, 17th place. There's Kyrgyzstan's Alexei Yukish closing in on the Brazilian, number 29, Andrei Wyrzykowski, and they are half a second apart. So Alexei Yukish made a debut last season in Season 1 of 2025 and has shown flashes of brilliance at times, but also had flashes of what on earth went wrong.
Well, that's part of the maturation process in these cars. They figure out, you go through a period where you figure out the speed aspect of it, and all of a sudden you jump up into a different category, and then you just got to work your way through making those mistakes and getting past that, and that's all part of the process, I guess. Jump up here to Patel. These two are hot on each other's tail here.
Yeah, he's got Dennis Cornu right behind him, the number 39 from Unity Racing. Dennis Cornu is a pretty fast pedal in his own right. Once he's on his A game, you have to watch out because he'll claim either a top 5 or a top 3, maybe even go for the W. As Holstein and Wyrzykowski are playing Super Formula Lights musical chairs at the minute, battling over 11th position. And they're not that far behind 013 of Antoine Holstein. Yeah, there you go. There they are. And this is where with nearly 7 laps completed. These laps here at Interlagos, they always fly by, especially with single seaters. As I said, we've got coming up on the JP Broadcasting Network at 1 a.m. Just before 1 a.m. UK time, 2 a.m. Central European Summer Time. We've got the Big Brothers, the 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged 550 brake horsepower Big Brother. The Super Formulas in battle later on for sim racing for Simpletons as they start a new season right here at Interlagos.
Ooh.
But that was a great move. Oh, dearie me, that was a bit of a nigh on code brown for the car in front. Vyzikowski nearly losing the back end of the number 29, but he managed to hold it together through the center S's. There's some squabbling up in front. Dantas, Belcardi and Mella, they're battling away over P8, and they're nearly 3 wide coming out of turn 5. Up the hill they go through Desida de Lago, now in towards Ferradura, the sweeping right-hander, and to the outside goes Flavio Dantas. Will he make the move through into La Regina? He's going to give it a try. He's nigh on there. It's going to be the right at SA. He's got the move done, or has he? To the outside goes Oscar Belcardi. Great battle between these three, and Gabriel Mella, the Spaniard, is giving chase as well at the same time. But Flavio Dantas, he's lost out. He's lost out. He gave it such a good go, and he nearly got my voice to break another octave. But there's contact between the pair. Gabriel Mella goes off, coming through out of Jungsao, and up the hill they go into Sabinister's boxes. But Flavio Dantas, welcome to iGPFun Super Formula Light.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a fine piece of car control there to stay on the outside as long as he did. Then he finally hit the curbing there, and I got himself in a little trouble, but the favor was returned right away. So ultimately he made that initial pass, but I thought he was going to get 2 there for a minute. Let's see, I'm looking here at some of the action we've had. There's so much action on track, it's hard to go back and watch some of these too many replays. You won't even be able to see the real racing. But I do want to go back and look at an old friend of ours from Australia, Tom Donahoe. Looks like he got into a little trouble here. Oh! Boy, did that turn into some...
Dear! Now, who was that behind? Now, was that possible? Don't tell me it was Maverick. Did he get his wings again?
Well, Maverick did get into an incident, but was that him there? He did have an incident.
I don't know. It's not him.
No, there's apparently 2 cars out there with a very similar paint scheme. Yeah, Maverick is just torn up there. Something's wrong with his car, but that was not Maverick involved in that. But it was a car very similarly painted. There's a lot of that in this league.
Can we just check out? Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jim, can we just check out number 27? That was possibly the number that I caught on an end plate. Eddie Esquirol down in 23rd, or 22nd actually, might be the car in question that went airborne. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure. No, not quite. But it might have been Jacques Willems, possibly.
Which is
Jacques Willems. 23.
And where's he at right now?
16th.
No, I think so.
No, it was definitely one of the Hydra race cars, but I'm sure that we'll catch up with who that was a little bit later on in the race. But still,
didn't really show it that the other car was involved in an accident. A Bessie? No. Sorry, I'm just trying.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure that we'll have a look a little bit later on once everything's all settled down. But we're already into nearly one. Well, we're getting closer and closer.
Oh, he's out of the race now.
Right. I think I might have spotted the car.
Let me see right here, real quick. This is.
So it's Abessi Yassin.
Yep.
For Team Krekeb, and he's the one that spins.
Oh.
And then you got a Hydra. Oh, he loses his wing.
Yeah.
Front wing.
But he was involved.
I've got a feeling. I'm wondering whether it might have been George Taylor, possibly 95. Not 100% sure, but we'll look back a little bit later on.
Yeah,
but
we'll see if we can
it's
figure
getting
that
very,
out.
very frantic. Stu Milne is battling away with the likes of Ben Goyette, Mike Ulch, Koji Ito. There are quite a few battles happening as Ben Goyette, the driver, up 14.
Right
yeah, he's going up. He's up 14 spots at the moment. Is Ben Goyette, the Canadian, up from
whole group
42nd
right there.
I know.
That's up 14, 15, 16 spots. That's the thing, man. When the field's this big, there's, such phenomenal battles that never make the coverage sometimes, unfortunately, because you're focusing on the, top 10 or 20 or whatever. And there's so many good battles up and down this field happening.
Yeah, so it is going to be the case if we are fast approaching within the first 15 minutes of this season opener. There's Adam Talsma. That might have been the car that got its wings.
Yes, that might be the car.
I think it was Adam Talsma. Now, where is he at the moment? 31st. So, yes, it looks like he was the one that was caught going airborne requesting Sao Paulo ATC permission to take off from Interlagos Airport.
Right, he had an illegal landing there.
Well, he had an illegal takeoff as well, Jim. So, you know what they say? It takes two to tango.
We'll jump back up here to the front. We got some action heating up here with, I'll let you do the names. I'll say Tony Jimenez. I got that part.
And he's chasing down Ludovic Hanson in the meantime. So, the battle between these two, covered by about 0.3 of a second. The battle for P4 still very much on as we are past pretty much the 1/3 distance. We are about to complete lap number 12 out of 35 for the opening round of this second season of iGPFun Super Formula Lights. iGPFun has been going for over 2 decades, and Luca Varani is one of the main men that makes it happen every single time that we want to go racing, and it's always a packed calendar with great circuits and fantastic action. Meantime, fastest lap of the race. I'm so glad I could say this, that Brazil's Flavio Dantas is the fastest driver out there. 1 minute, 25.643. He's just done a 25.611, however, not registered as a fastest lap because he's exceeded track limits here at Interlagos. Quelle bonne surprise, as the French would say. And he's just gone quicker. 125.596. I've got a feeling that Flavio Dantas, he could possibly be in the top 5 by the checkered if he keeps this pace up. He's really, really going very, very well. But what's more to the point, he's also bringing Unity Racing's Oscar Belcardi, the number 30, along for the ride as well.
Yeah, Oscar's tucked on his tail there and following him up to the front, towards the front. Flavio's had some open track in front of him there for a couple of laps, and he was really putting it down. Now he's starting to catch some traffic, which he'll get a little toe off of, but we'll see if he struggles to get by him and how much it slows him down.
Yeah, that's going to be the big 64,000 peso question that really needs to be answered here in Brazil. But Flavio Dantas is on the move. He's made up 11 places at the moment. Other drivers that have made up big moves. Eddie Esquirol up 12 places from 34th on the grid. Clark Williams started 36. And here comes Tony Jimenez with a head full of steam round the outside at Arquiba Candas. And he will get through. He's finally broken the deadlock. Has the Spaniard. He's got through on Ludovic Hanson, and now can go hunting after Thomas Regien, who is 1.9 seconds up the road. But the Estotel Esports driver from Spain, former champion, now can start to try and break away. But Ludovic Hanson is looking to get that P4 back from the Spaniard through into the Ciudad de Lago at turn 4 and turn 5. Up the hill towards the right-hand kink at Ferradura before they head into La Regina at turn 7. Before the hard braking zone at turn 8 for SA. And then it's going to be down into Pinarino, through into Pico de Pato, the Duck's Beak at turn 10. And then through into Magulo.
We'll jump back here to the Swiss driver of Luca Varani. He looked like he was making a move. That's a pretty car right there, especially if you're a...
Oh, Oscar Belcardi has lost it. Oh, dear.
Let's see real
And he
quick
just
what
set-
happened
he
to Belcardi. He was
Let's
cooking
see.
there.
He's probably lost it all on his own. Yeah, he's cooked it all on his own. Look, he's going to turn around the corner, turns it in, over rotates, applies the power, bang, spins it. And that's just like Kylie Minogue spinning around too often, and he's just gone and done that himself as Oscar Belcardi. Briefly after setting the fastest lap of the race, and he had to watch the rejoin there as well. He could have held his brakes for a little bit longer and then waited to hit the accelerator. But Luca Varani closing in on Alexei Yukish. Meantime,
Patel.
yeah, Krish Patel has got Dennis Cornu, and now look who's behind them. Flavio Dantas,
sure
the
is.
Brazilian. This is going to be an absolutely brilliant fight. Dennis Cornu pulls out of the slipstream into turn 4 at the Interlagos, and that is neat as you like, but he runs very, very wide. Patel's going to get the inside line into turn 5, and here comes Flavio Dantas with a head of steam behind the pair of them. You're going to go into Ferradura now, into La Regina, and Dantas up the inside of Patel. Great move by the Brazilian. That puts him into that position. But no, they make contact. However, Cornu loses out big time. Smallest of touches, and Flavio Dantas, muito parabéns, up 13 places now. Runs a genuine P6 as we are on lap 15 out of 35. Looks like we found someone who might be able to put some frighteners on the old guard, such as Yunus Amal, Tony Jimenez, Lee Aberdeen if he ever makes a return here in Season 2 in 2025. But Flavio Dantas on home soil at Interlagos. It's a bit like Felipe Massa back in 2008 when he went from way down the back of the grid and went on to win the race, even though he lost out to Lewis Hamilton that year in the infamous "Is it Glock" moment when Glock was running for Toyota that season.
So you got these guys up here ahead of them that are fighting it out. Rincon and Jimenez here. If they start battling for too long, you're going to see Flavio catch them quick. If they start, messing around too much, he's going to be right on their tail.
Yeah, Flavio Dantas' last lap was 1 minute 26.2. Tony Jimenez 1:25.8. Ronson 1:25.8.
Well, once they start, let's see what happens when they start actually fighting for position here. That's going to obviously slow them up a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah, once they start battling, it then means that they have to continue on concentrating on themselves. And I love the Ludovic Hansart Lando Norris tribute helmet we've got going on. That's awesome.
Nice looking helmet. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's got the Lando Norris logo and the number 4 on the top part of the helmet behind in front of the spoiler on the back of it. So now, Ludovic Hansart closing in on Tony Jimenez. Battle for P4 continues onwards as we are nearly halfway through this race. We're on to lap 17 out of 35. One more lap and then we'll be at the halfway point. Flavio Dantas, new fastest lap of the race, 1:25.392. He has got a rocket ship underneath him, hasn't he?
He's coming. He's cut that gap by a full second already since I made the comment about them fighting and he's coming. He's dropped that almost a full second already.
Well, I mean, you remember the film Smokey and the Bandit? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. And Flavio Dantas is making it a short way to go and a long time to get there because he's getting there quicker than anybody else.
That song for you.
Sung by the late, great Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
Who played Snowman as well for those aficionados of that film, which also had the late Jackie Gleason and also Sally Field, if people might remember back in those days.
Now, let's see. Let's test your Smokey and the Bandit knowledge real quick. What was the dog's name?
Fred.
Fred, that's right.
Fred the Basset Hound. There we go. You see, it's not just James Parfitt and Alex Goldschmidt that can have a conversation about movies. It's also Jim Cunningham that can be involved in that conversation as well. Gabriel Meyer, Mela has unfortunately ended up coming into the pits. Maybe that's going to be for damage. And the timer has started ticking for the Spaniard. Was doing really, really well. But that has really put him... Yeah, that's a quick pit stop, 6.38 seconds. So maybe a little bit of damage, and he's had to rejoin. But we are past the halfway point, and still Unisonet, the I think it is the Quebec driver, judging by that. I am going to have to do my research on the Quebec flag. I think it is the Quebec flag. Because, it's a white cross on a blue background with four white fleur-de-lis, which is the first provisional flag officially adopted in Canada at the Parliament building in Quebec City during the administration of Maurice Duplessis, and that was on January the 21st, 1948. Oh my goodness me, that was a hell of a time ago. So it looks like it is the fleur-de-lis Quebec flag that we are seeing. So someone has decided, I'm going to put that in. So that's something you don't see every day, a flag of representing Quebec. Meantime, we've got a good battle here. Here is the recovering Gabriel Meller, who's closing in on the man from the Netherlands, Richard van Veen.
Yeah, that was these four were running pretty tight there together for a while. They've just opened up just a little bit here, but they're still all within a few seconds of each other. It looks like, oh, that's a nice move right there. Oh, we locked them up though. Oh, them tires are going to be angry about that.
Not an easy one. Never an easy one when you lock up into the center S's. That was the left front he locked up, to be honest with you there, Jim. However, he is still doing what he can. Yeah, but the gap between Tony Jimenez and Flavio Dantas has come down again. It's under 3.1 seconds now. So Flavio Dantas is definitely getting his carnival moves on at the moment. Is the Brazilian trying to close in. He's up 13 spots at the minute. 3 seconds of real estate. Can he get past Tony Jimenez is going to be the big question by the end of this race, because the Brazilian has been showcasing some outlandish and outrageous overtaking skills so far at his home track.
He looks like he's kind of pulled away from Dennis Cornu. Cornu was sticking with him for a while, but it seems like he's having a hard time keeping up with that pace, and now of course he's got Patel right on his rear end, so he's going to have to start paying a little more attention to his mirrors, and that's certainly not going to help his forward speed.
No, definitely not, Jim. I'd completely agree with you there on that front, because it's, in some respects, it's very, very difficult to try and get past somebody. But then when you got the opportunity to close that gap and then you see that window present itself in front of you, then it's a little bit easier to, in your mind, manifest the move. But 3 wide, Gabriel Meller going through on Albert Harari. And I think he's... Oh, don't try and go 4 wide into turn 4. That's never going to work on a month of Sundays. And Gabriel Mellon keeps his foot stuck in. Boy, Albert Harari loses out to Scott Taylor in the number 58 as they go through into Ferradura and now into La Regina here at turn number 7.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Oh, my goodness me.
Gabriel kind of run Harari out there a little wide. He certainly didn't leave him in his space there.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, it just goes to show how quickly things can turn on its head as Richard van Veen now gets through on Albert Harari, who's definitely finding out the hard way of what it's like to race in iGPFun Super Formula Lights here at Interlagos. As we have 15 laps to go, including this one. We're on lap 21. And Johan Annette is leading by 2.5 seconds. He's opened the gap over the Moroccan Unisamal. And there is Nguyen in the number 59, another one of the drivers in the Unity Racing livery. And he's going to dive into pit lane, possibly for damage or maybe a little bit of fuel. Oh, no, it's the mechanical black flag. So I was right, it is for damage.
Whoa. Oh.
Whoa.
That didn't go well.
That went as well as a bad Sunday roast, that did, Jim.
That's about exactly right. I just want to point out that battle we were just looking at was for back like in 18th, 19th, 20th place. Look at, he's way wide there. Oh, and he's going to gain a spot off
That's
of
Richard
it?
Richard Van Veen.
Van Veen better give that spot back. That's not going to go well for him. But
no, I mean Harari's going to send it. There he goes up the inside.
I don't know if he gave it back, but nevertheless, Harari got it back briefly anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to point out that that wasn't a battle in the top 5. Oh no!
Oh, Richard Van Veen has just collided, and that was with Andrei Wyrzykowski. Richard Van Veen for Modern Racing Prince. Oh. He dumps the clutch. He spins it round. By his own admission, it was a mistake. And Richard Van Veen has just been T-boned, and he's got mechanical damage, mechanical black flag, and also for Wyrzykowski, they both have to come down pit lane.
Man, so we watched Wynn have that horrible pit stop, where he slid it in there sideways in the pits, and it looks like something happened to him after he came out of the pits.
That's out of turn 4 to see the Interlagos, and he's tagged the barriers. Oh no!
I'm guessing
he's gone from bad to worse.
He's back to pits again. I'm guessing he might have put tires on it, and they were cold there, and he just didn't give them a chance to warm up. But let's see. Go back up here. Let's take a look at our leader. We have not been up front. He's just been kind of out there on his own. We haven't talked about him at all, really.
No, Johan Annette has been doing a stellar job at the front end of the field and now has nearly a 3-second advantage over Vimala. I did notice that I think it was Andrei Wyrzykowski's car, there were only 3 wheels on that wagon, Jim, and his right front was not on the car in the pit lane, so that's not going to help him. But he has rejoined after possibly more than likely a little splash of fuel in the gas tank, and also maybe getting a fast repair initiated. But Johan Annette has been doing an absolutely stellar job. 3 seconds up the road as we are on lap 23. We'll have 12 more to go after this one is done and dusted, and Johan Annette is looking to stake his claim early in the offing for the season 2 overall side of things. But Tony Jimenez and Ludovic Ronson, they've been playing musical chairs again. Yeah, Jimenez is behind Ronson at the moment for P4.
Right now, there's 2 chairs and 2 guys dancing around them. But I hate to tell you, folks, but Flavio's fixing to come try to steal one of those 2 seats.
Anyone got the Jaws music burning? Jim, is the Jaws music burning in your ears right now? Because it's happening with me.
It is indeed. He is absolutely hunting them down right now. Yep, and the longer they battle, I mean, they're we don't see them going wheel to wheel, but they're running together. I tell you what, Jimenez likes that really wide line coming in to turn 1 here down through the center S's. He swings it out way wide coming into there. That's really the only guy out there I've seen running that line, but it seems to work for him.
Yeah, it does indeed. And now he's got a good run. He's got a good toe on Ludovic Ronson coming down the Reta Aposta in towards the Cida del Lago at turns 4 and 5. He's going to stay in the slipstream of the car in front.
I thought he was going to get out there and have to lift, but he looks like kept his foot in it.
I think they both did, to be honest with you. But
yeah, they did. It was follow the leader there, apparently. They went from musical chairs to follow the leader.
Yeah, that's that definitely looks to be the case. But as you said, whilst they still battle, Flavio Dantas has got to within 2 seconds.
He has,
and is closing that gap every single corner. Now it's 1.87. So Flavio Dantas just using that track knowledge to good effect. Air temperature currently just under 23 degrees Celsius, just over 26 track degree on the track. So 26.1 degrees. It's helping Dantas to really close on in. And then you can see that there's a back marker up in front of these two. Again, Tony Jimenez using the wider line.
Brad jumped out there after the last couple of laps, and now he's cut that line off on Jimenez. He wasn't running that line earlier, but he's seen he's seen what Jimenez has been doing, and he's snuck out there now and started running that same line.
Oh, they nearly hit the back marker in the process
Sure
as well. In the meantime, Flavio Dantas, who was catching them, has just had to dive into pit lane for a 6.1 second pit stop. So maybe that car has been running a little bit light on fuel. They do need to fuel them to try and minimise going into the pit stop, into pit road before the race is concluded. And now Johan Annette has just 10 laps to go. That's just over 43 kilometres of racing left here on this opening round of the season. And Annette is, I think, firing a warning shot on what the drivers can expect this time around for this 12-week season.
Yeah, he's certainly he's making the most of that opportunity. He created his opportunity by qualifying up towards the front there, and just absolutely got out there and away from all this traffic, and has performed flawlessly so far. Been great execution on his part. So
we now have this and 9 laps to go. So 10 laps to go for the Artendelia Racing Team's Johan Annette, who has really decided to fire the warning shot across the bow for everybody else and saying, right, you lot better pay attention. I'm not here to muck around. Meantime, Tony Jimenez, once again, doing the Chuckle Brothers routine of to me, to you with Ludovic Vincent. Like I said, musical chairs, and Jimenez now starting to close on in. They've got through on the back marker behind them, so now they can concentrate on their own inter-driver squabble at this moment in time. Down the hill they will go once again through Essay, now into Pinarino. Then it's going to be back up the hill in towards Bico de Pato very shortly. It's going to be hard on the brakes. Down to second gear. Rotate the car. Don't accelerate too heavily out of it. Down into Mergulo.
Oh, it's battle for second
now there
place
was something
right here.
Oh, Thomas Regien is now being closed, has gone through on Yunus Amal. There was also a car off on the side of the road just a minute ago as well. Might have been possibly Mohamed Bouleg in the number 12 car.
It was Bouleg.
Yeah, and that was in 28th position. So finds himself over a lap down off of the leader of the race, as we still have this a 9 to go. Thomas Regien now making it an Artendelia Racing Team 1-2, but Yunus Amal is going to come back at him down the Reta Posta, slots in behind the number 45, through into Desida de Lago. They go at turn 4 and turn 5, up the hill, and then sweeping through into Ferradura, into La Regina at turn 7. Hard on the brakes for turn 8 here at Essay. And this gap between them is about 0.3 of a second, give or take. A few cents of change. More dramas for Alexei Yukish, who's just gone off. Keeping an eye on where our Brazilian friend is.
This is a replay, so you can imagine.
Flavio Dantas. Oh, no. Flavio Dantas is eliminated. Oh, and it was no fault of his own. He came through at high speed at Desida de Lago and bang, somersaulted over the car that was in front of him. Not too sure who that was, but that was a big hit. Let's have a look at it again here, Jim. Oh.
I tell you what, it's a good thing we're sim racing right now, because I don't think the result of that crash right there would have been too good at all. That was a straight T-bone right in the driver's compartment there. That would have been bad. Oh, dearie me. That is just horrifying. I mean, I've seen a crash like that in Formula 3 in real life, and the driver went straight over the back of somebody else because they couldn't see where they were going. There was dust kicked up in the air, and it had plenty of more hang time than Michael Jordan. And I remember the car just spearing its way over the back rear wing of somebody else, but that was a big old impact for Flavio Dantas. Last year there was a kind of a similar type crash going up through Radion and Eau Rouge there at Spa in Formula 2 or 3, where a guy got sideways and then got T-boned by another car, and one of them passed away, I believe, right?
That was actually, funny enough, that was, I actually know what happened that weekend because I'd been to Spa that weekend. It was in the Formula Regional European Championship powered by Alpine, and the driver that unfortunately lost his life due to the injuries suffered was Delano Van Toff for MP Motorsport. And that was a very, very somber weekend. And that was the same place where Antoine Hubert lost his life after contact with Juan Manuel Correa at the same location back in 2019. And that's a weekend I never want to, I'll never forget, but for many a reason, I won't want to remember. And especially when my heart goes out to the person who actually commentated on that race, didn't know until he heard officially, and that was George Morgan, a good friend of mine, a fellow commentator. That's it still goes to show that in real life, folks, that motorsport is very, very dangerous. Yeah. And it is a shame that these kind of things happen. But nevertheless, we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on with the show as it happens. Ludovic Constant with the Lando Norris Tribute Racing Helmet Act being chased down by a Stuartel Esports Tony Jimenez. And they are still battling tooth and nail over fourth spot as we are heading into the final few laps of this race. 35 in total, and Johan Annette has led every single one of them. He now has a lead not over Eunice Amal anymore, but a 4.9 second advantage over Francis Thomas Regien in the number 45. Eunice Amal, Ludovic Constant on your screens, along with Tony Jimenez, round out your top 5, followed by Dennis Cornu, Krish Patel, Antoine Holstein and Oscar Belcardi, with Luca Verani rounding out your top 10. And at the moment we are still seeing some drivers circulating, and at the minute I see Andy Maverick Flint, John McKenzie, Nathan Rosso, Patrick Williams, Noah Farrell, Flavio Dantas has called it time, Oscar Artinano, Mehmet Tashi out on lap 21.
That was a nice pass.
Nguyen out on,
oops, sorry.
Nguyen. Oh, no worries there at all. That's Oscar Belcardi making move on Holstein. Mehmet Tashi, Nguyen, Clark Williams, Robert Ridgway, Stefan Dodora, Mike Ulsh, Tom Donahue, Abessi Yassine, Francois Brandet, Juan Moreno, Patrick Rowlands and Scott Haddock have all retired. So we have, out of the 48 starters, 33 still circulating.
Wow.
As I said, and you agreed with me on this as well, that it was about surviving this opening race.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things you don't want to do is go barging in like a bull in a china shop. And we found that out with many a driver, that they just went, yeah, I'm going to give it a go. And, oh, whoops, that was not part of the plan, was it?
And then, like I said, with so many drivers on track, even once they're spread out, look what happened to Flavio Dantas. No fault of his own, coming around that high-speed corner, and there's a car sideways in the track in front of it. Nothing he could do, and it ended his race. Just when there's that many cars out there, it's just so easy for stuff like that to happen.
Yes, indeed. And now Tony Jimenez has got through again. More musical chairs for P4.
Yeah, these two have been. It's been a great battle, though. I have to say, when those two get out of their car, they're gonna have had a lot of fun, because they have been getting after it. This battle for second place is kind of still going on as well, but it narrows down to about a half a second, or gets up to about a half a second, then they close back on each other, and I keep waiting to see something happen, but it's. Right now, they're just following each other around.
Yeah, it's like, as you said, follow the leader. But this is allowing you...
I think that they're waiting for a moment. We still got, 15 minutes left in this race.
We're running out of laps, Jim. We've got 35 laps.
That's true, yeah. I forgot that there was a lap count. It wasn't just a timed race. So, yeah, well, it's time to get, as they say in the old country boys say from over here where I'm from, it's time to start making hay.
Yeah, it's time to put your big boy pants on, Get her done, son. You know, that's the whole thing.
Get her done. Oh my word.
That's one of my friends used to say, to take the mickey out of people in the US.
These two back here. Hold on. I'm sorry. These two right here are going back and forth. They swapped spots 3 times on the straightaway right there.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show again. Well, Dennis Cornu and Krish Patel have swapped places.
That's it.
And they're doing musical chairs between them. Cornu runs wide. Patel back up at the inside at turn 5. And we are now on. We've got 3 to go after this one. And whilst everyone's been scrapping for the leftovers on the dinner table after the Sunday roast. And again, nice. Krish Patel goes wide. Dennis Cornu, neat move up the inside of the American. He gets back through for 6th position. But can the man with the red halo on his Unity racing car keep that position away from the American? Krish Patel for the RRS Astronauts is going to try his level best to put one back up the inside of Dennis Cornu. But can he do that in the next, what will be 3 laps? As Johan Annette takes us on to 3 to go here at Interlagos, and he still has a big lead over Thomas Regien, 5.2 seconds. And here comes Krish Patel. He's got the opportunity. He's in the tow. He's got the slipstream. Can he make it work into the center S's at turns 1 and 2? The American is going to try and give it a shot, but on this particular occasion, he was not close enough behind Dennis Cornu to facilitate that maneuver. Maybe a good exit out of Curva de Sol at turn 3. Now he's going to be in the slipstream down the Retta Aposta. Patel is bump drafting. He's pulling to the inside. He's going to have the inside line for turn 4. Back through he goes on Dennis Cornu, who runs slightly wide through turn 4 to carry the momentum through 5. Up the hill they go into the right-hander at Ferradura and into La Regina once again. But still, this has been another one of those great battles. We've got Jimenez versus Vincent, Patel versus Cornu, Belcardi versus Holstein. We've got Varani versus Yukish. We've got Esquillo versus Milne down in 17th and 18th. And Unisamala's taken back 2nd position. Thomas Regien. Thomas Regien has lost it big time. Oh, my goodness. The man who was running 2nd behind his Quebec teammate has dropped it big time. And here comes Ludovic Vincent trying to get through, back on Krish Patel. And Vincent looks to the outside. Patel covers him off as we've got 2 to go. Next time around will be the white flag lap. And here is Krish Patel. Thomas Regien now finds himself in the battle between Cornu and Patel. And he goes up the inside. Trail breaks through. Cornu gets forced out wide. Nearly goes onto the grass. And good old Tom Cairns also watching along, our good buddy. A lot of drivers already out. It must have been a race of attrition at the start. No kidding, Tom. It's been madness here at Interlagos.
It has been.
But more to the point, Regien now through on Cornu, who's down from 5th. Now hits 7th position. But more to the point, this battle is not over yet by a damn long sight. We've still got this and one more lap to go. Johan Annette is going to take us on to the white flag lap here at Interlagos for the opening round of the season for Season 2 of iGPFun Super Formula Lights. And now he comes up the hill through into turn 15 at Arquibacandas, the bleachers, and will cross the line to start the white flag lap here at Interlagos. White flag in the air, and it's been lights out so far. Here we go. Johan Annette takes us into the center S's for the final time here on lap 35. And there is Krish Patel. He's managed to get away, but Regien and Cornu still battling away. Jimenez and Hosson, they're battling over P3 in the dying stages. Cornu's got the slipstream on Regien as they go out of the final corner. Across the line they go. Cornu to the outside. Regien holds the racing line into the center S's for one more time. My goodness, these frantic battles are reaching fever pitch, and their inevitable crescendo as Ludovic Vincent gets through on Tony Jimenez. Jimenez looking to the inside here at turn number 5. Can he? Well, he's going to try and get through round the outside at Ferradura. Will Jimenez have the cojones to do it? No, he does not, but he's still going to keep the throttle planted to the outside. Ronsard stays there. They've got a back marker in front, and Ronsard nearly makes contact with the back marker, who quickly gets out of the way.
Oh, no.
Oh, and Jimenez spins it! Oh, Jimenez spins! Oh, that's lost him big amount of time.
Oh, my goodness.
But more to the point, let's concentrate on our race leader. Johan Annette is coming up the hill for the final time. And the Artendelia Racing Team Quebec Star, the number 11, is going to come through the final corner. And now will take the checkered flag and wins the season opener here at Interlagos.
Wow, that was a heck of a race. I mean, the lead wasn't really in question there most of the race, but I tell you what, there were battles everywhere else.
Sorry, Jim, I'm just having to get my breath back.
I'm sure you are. Oh, I'm sure you are. That was a blast. I tell you what, we are in for a heck of a season here if it's going to be like that all year.
Oh, you're right about that, my friend. So, Johan Annette has taken the opening race of the season after 35 laps at Interlagos by 5.5 seconds ahead of Unisamal, with Ludovic Constant edging out Tony Jimenez for P3, Krish Patel fourth, ahead of Thomas Regien, Dennis Cornu, Oscar Belcardi, Antoine Holstein and Luca Varani round out the top 10. We've still got a few more drivers left to cross the stripe before we conclude our on-track action. Alexei Yukish in 11th, head of Jerry Boule. Jacques Willems in 13th, head of Gabriel Mailer. Scott Taylor. Albert Harari, Stu Milne. And there goes Andrei Vyzhikowski, who finishes behind Eddie Esquidol.
Right.
Ben Goyette. Adam Talsma, Koji Ito, Andrei Vyzhikowski. Oh, there's so many names. I'm going to run out of breath talking about them. But let's bring you up the results. Johan Annette, lights out to checkered flag for the Quebecois driver. Great job. Didn't put a foot wrong whilst everyone was battling over the scraps of the table. There's your top 18, rounded out by Eddie Esquidol and the number 27 from France, who made it all the way up from 34th on the grid. And then you've got Koji Ito starting the next page. So you've got Ito, Vyzhikowski, Amos, Van Veen, Fields, Linus Malm, Bualeg, Dorian Arroyo from Mexico. Maverick, well, he didn't get his wings. He did definitely take off, though, at one point.
He definitely got clipped along the way there. His wings got clipped today.
He did indeed. And with that, well, 48 drivers started the race. Not everybody finished. Here in a race of attrition here at iGPFun Super Formula Lights League, round 1 live from Interlagos. I mean, Jim, a heck of a race.
Indeed.
I think this season, from what I understand, I think the next race is going to be very soon. It's going to be in 1 week's time. I think everybody should tune in for that one, shouldn't they?
They should. You know, I'm going to kind of summarize my final thought here real quick before we sign off. You look at this results right here, you look at the times and the gaps and everything, and you would see this and you would think that it was, not that exciting of a race. Obviously, the leader was 5 seconds ahead, but the reality was all of that sorted itself out on about the last lap with a couple of spins and whatnot. We had phenomenal racing up and down this field for 1 solid hour. We really did. It was absolutely fantastic racing up and down this field. Props out to the drivers. I know we lost a lot of guys out there today, but man, when you put 49 guys on any track, anywhere, at any time, that's going to happen. This was great racing, and I am looking forward to next week.
Well, that's it from us here on the JP Broadcasting Network for live coverage of the opening round of Season 2 of iGPFun Super Formula Lights League, live from the virtual recreation of the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache at Interlagos in Sao Paulo in Brazil. You've been in the company of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Jim Cunningham. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell whilst you're at it. Join us, same place, same time next week for round 2, which sure is to be a slobber knocker. Until then, race hard, race fair, and when in doubt, well, you better go flat out. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.